Hello, it's Wednesday the 18th. I'm FxPlew and this is the market brief. So we had inflation data out yesterday and it was pretty good news. Headline inflation dropped to 3%, which is the lowest in nearly a year. Food and fuel drove much of this drop, and it leaves the MPC with little reason not to cut rates from 3.75% when they meet again in March. Obviously, Reeves has been on after this. She was crowing about how this vindicates government fiscal strategy, as cutting the cost of living is her number one priority. Now, I thought fostering wider economic growth was their number one priority, but hey, with the GDP data being what it is, maybe she is struggling to count from 1 to 2, or to point to for that matter. Now, for what it's worth, 3% inflation still means the cost of living is going up year on year, and 3% is a full percentage point away from target. And indeed, Hugh Pill off of the MPC will not be joining any conga line from Downing Street about this. He sees that most of the drivers for this drop are one-off impact, and the underlying trend is still looking pretty sticky above 2%. We can expect him to vote to keep rates on hold and keep rates higher for longer. Over in the US, the Fed minutes show the committee is split right down the middle now. The decision to pause was met by approval in the market, but the path ahead now is a little less clear. Further cuts can be expected, especially after Warsh steps in as chairman, but inflation does still need to behave, and the debate around fighting inflation or supporting Labour looks set to continue. Kevin Hassat has been on. He's on the warpath again after a Fed study on US tariffs suggested the US companies shoulder most of the additional costs. He's tried to write this off as partisan nonsense and even called for the researchers to be punished. No need for a reminder, but Kevin Hassat is firmly on Team Trump, and he reiterated the view that tariffs are great, they bring production home, they drive wages higher, and consumers win. He is the director of the White House's National Economic Council, and I fear he may be delusional. In the market, the dollar index moved higher to around 97.75, and we kick off lower against the dollar around 135, fairly flat against the euro around 114.40, and euro dollar is down to around the 118 level on the open this morning. That's it from me. Have a great day.
If you do not have a clue, then just tweet through and ask FxPlew.